I believe things can happen of such an intensity that they do resonate through time, create like an echo. The story of the Titanic is very personal to each person who hears it, almost like a biblical story. This giant ship, all these people in the middle of the ocean at night, this iceberg, the warnings. What would it have been like to be there on that fateful night? I knew Jim was going to go back to the Titanic. He had talked about it. He wanted to take another expedition since he had made the film. He had invited me in passing, but I guess I didn't really seriously consider I would actually go.
Hello.
Hello.
You speak English?
Немножко.
Oh, great. I'm looking for my room, my cabin.
Это вы сейчас пройдете направо к каюте Старпома, и он вам покажет вашу каюту, куда обратиться.
Thank you.
But then when he actually said, no, I really want you to come along and experience it for yourself and just take it all in. I had to go. Keldysh is the largest scientific research vessel in the world, and all the activity on board is focused on the Mirs and what they have to accomplish at the bottom of the ocean. They take their work extremely seriously. Everything is checked and rechecked, just like a space mission. Like the night finds the day.
My name is Louis Abernathy, and I'm an underwater explorer.
Well, I got them all. ABC.
I have been trying to thumb a ride down the Titanic for probably 10 years now.
What you got for me, Lou? We got bots, slimy bots, and A deck, B deck, C deck. Where do you want to start?
Cute, like rusticles like this big around.
My name is Lori Johnston. My position was as a microbiologist looking at the rusticles.
The idea that she spiraled down, spitting objects all the way down.
My name is Charles Pellegrino. I was one of the historians and biologists on the expedition.
We tend to think of it in 21st century, eyes.
I'm Don Lynch, and I studied the story of the Titanic based upon the testimony and the accounts of the passengers and crew, the people who were there and actually witnessed it.
My name is Ken Marshall. I've been studying the Titanic for over 3 decades now.
I checked it out, the Strauss suite.
Through all those years and all that study, I've sort of become a visual historian about the ship and her structure and her appearance.
It was an amazing expedition in terms of all of this state-of-the-art technology and engineering we were using for the first time in terms of the camera system. The ROVs were amazing, on the cutting edge of technology.
Just try to keep the light in right where I've gone in. I'm going to explore these front cabins. There is no script. We don't know what we're going to see. We don't know what we're going to encounter.
The crucial thing about deep-sea photography is lighting.
And just come up over and light all this business down in here. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So we had a sister ship on the expedition called the AS. The AS had this giant lighting chandelier called Medusa. The theory was basically to lower the chandelier down over the wreck and do this overlighting, almost like moonlight. There was no manual for any of this. Nobody had ever combined this many elements into a single dive operation before at these depths. We were pushing the limits of technology, which was a little eerie given the fate of the ship we had come to explore.
This is where it all happened. You know, it could just be any other part of the ocean, but there's something special about knowing that this is the spot, and the wreck's down there.
Why this shipwreck? You know, why not the Lusitania? Why not the Morro Castle? Why not the Atlantic?
They're all good.
I mean, they're all good, but
they're all
why
good,
is this
well,
one?
but look at all the stuff that comes with this. I mean, you've got, the biggest ship in the world. It's on its maiden voyage. You've got the president of the company on board that owns it. You've got the builder on board, and it hits an iceberg, and then it sinks so slowly that you've got all these hours for all this drama to be acted out, and you don't get that with other shipwrecks.
It's really a Greek tragedy for real.
She was so cheated. She was so beautiful. So much energy went into building this creation. You know, the epitome of human engineering and architecture, maritime architecture at that point. And to have it taken away, stolen, just 4 days out of England. And that's part, I guess, of the odd attraction to it. The fact that you just could never have such a thing happen before or since.
The ship remains at the bottom of the sea as an eternal memorial, and we can visit that memorial, we can bear witness to the event, and if we're going to do interior exploration, we have to do it now, because 5 years from now there might not be anything. 5 years ago the technology didn't exist to do it. We had to will it into existence.
Monday, August 20th, 2001. Tomorrow morning we will descend 2.5 miles into the cold, dark netherworld and see Titanic for ourselves as she lies broken on the seafloor. How do you prepare for such an experience?
Okay, dive 1. It's going to be JB and Bill in Mir 2, and me and Vince in Mir 1. Pilots are going to be Zhenya Chernayev, Mir 2, Anatoly Sagalevich, Mir 1.
Okay, here's your checklist. Have your last will and testament in order. Make sure your insurance is paid up. Write a final note to your family. These are the kind of things you think about.
Next up,
Happy
Titanic.
hunting.
All right.
Happy hunting, brother man.
Rock and roll.
Moment of truth.
See you in the sunshine.
To get in a 3-man submersible and descend 12,500 feet down into the bottom of the North Atlantic, it was a little more, maybe a little more adventure than I wanted.
Oxygen. That's good. Yeah, be sure to turn that on.
surface, yes.
Yeah, I can see how you get kind of queasy sitting up here. Look at the colors change.
Ямер-2, глубина 100.
This tells you the oxygen up here, right?
Yes.
So it's at
21.
21, that's good. Now, if that gets below what, 19, then it's...
Yes.
What's the number you watch for?
It's 19. It's good also. It's good, yes.
But if it gets below what? Does the battery sound okay to you? It sounds kind of sluggish like that? That's normal?
Yes, it's normal. Yes.
And now, if you have a real emergency and everything fails, and I heard some about you can disengage, drop the main battery. Just
yes, we have many possibilities. I hope we never drop battery because it's very expensive.
How much?
It's $250,000, I think.
Would you take a check? 2,000 meters?
Yes, 2,000.
Pretty deep. Something wrong? It's okay?
Yes.
That's handy.
I need fixed joystick for manipulator.
Oh, okay. Okay, good, yeah. Mir 1, this is Mir 2. What is your depth, over?
Mir 2, this is Mir 1. Depth is 3,000. 353 meters. See you on the bottom. Jim out.
I see bottom. It's bottom.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah, just barely. Bottom of the ocean. Look at that. Look at that. It's like the dark side of the moon. It wasn't just the idea of putting your faith in these little submarines and going to the bottom of the sea. These thousands of tons of pressure against you, but where we were going.
We'll see more debris as we go. There's a piece right there. Yeah, look, there's some China. See the China? Yeah, we got it. You want to see Titanic on the sonar? Check this out, bro. You're going to love this. It's like, there she is, baby. Okay, 50 meters, straight ahead.
Bill, it is wow.
Oh, look at that. My God, there it is. What a sight, what a sight. So Medusa is lighting it up. Get a sense of the size of this thing. My God. This was the Titanic. This is, the fabled liner that lies in its grave at the bottom of the North Atlantic. You approach it with incredible reverence.
Bill, it is bow anchor.
Oh, God.
The port side in good conditions.
Man, that is incredible. Look at that. Look at that. It's dug in all the way up to the anchor. Yeah, it's amazing just to be floating above it. Gosh, you could just reach out and touch it. We're right near the anchor crane. It's right there. Yes, yes. See it?
Look, right here, right here. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, you're clear. I knew we were gonna get close to Titanic, but not this close.
The experience of being in one of the mere submersibles is almost like an astral projection. And the way you float around it, really is an ethereal kind of ghostly experience.
You see, it's hatch number 1.
Oh yeah, look, you can see right down the cargo hatch. Boy, it just falls into just a black well. Oh, there's the crow's nest door right there. They climbed up inside the mast to get out to the crow's nest. That's where Fleet stood, right there when he saw the iceberg. Iceberg, right ahead! You see it looks like the port electric crane. What is that? Yeah, it's a gate.
Yes,
closed gate.
Yes.
Officers lock that to keep the steerage passengers down below decks. Of course, I'd have been just climbing over that thing. So that's right where the bridge was. And there's the telemotor. The helm of the ship. Try to imagine what it must have been like to be on the bridge that night. First Officer William Murdoch's on duty. Quartermaster Hitchens at the wheel. That split-second decision Murdoch had to make. He can go left, or he can go right.
Quickly!
Murdoch is suddenly staring an iceberg right down the barrel. Murdoch knows how many passengers are on board, how few lifeboats there are, what grave danger the ship is in. Golly, that is history right there. We are touching the legend.
Darkness, darkness, be my pillow. Take my hand and let me sleep.
Wow, just like a cliff, just falling into the abyss.
The coolness of your shadow in the silence of your deep.
Mirror 2, be advised that we're going to be going up.
They start up. Well, let's clear Titanic before we turn the lights off.
Titanic was good to us today.
Келдыш Миру-1, Келдыш Миру-1 обесточил гидравлику. У нас глубина 3760 метров.
Goodbye, Titanic. Hello, Sergei. Whew.
Mr. Keldish.
Quite a ride. At the bow, it's so dug in, you just don't get that depth. And seeing that wall just going all the way down there and just falling into nothing, even just with the Mirror 2's lights, really was like, holy cow, this thing is so big. What exciting work.
There's the D-deck doors.
We were exploring the Titanic with new technologies and with these incredible new cameras.
Have you ever been in any kind of sub before?
Only at Disneyland.
This is different.
Very different.
Good luck.
See you later.
These dives, every one is so precious, and I just want to make sure that we pack as much information visually and historically as I can possibly get into these eyeballs.
You know, you have historians, you have scientists. It was a great camaraderie.
I screamed like a girl the whole time. Cried like a baby.
The ROVs were fascinating. Initially, they were called Bot 1 and Bot 2, but ultimately they were named Jake and Elwood.
My name is Mike Cameron. I'm the ROV creator. The vehicle is not unlike a little creature. It's got a brain, it's got a computer on board, it's got eyes, a couple cameras up front.
Just give it a little forward. You are in, Daddy-O, you're in.
It's got this character about it that's alive.
The real revolutionary part about it is the fiber optic spool. It's like a spider spitting out its own silk.
Come in here, explore these rooms, come back out.
If these bots worked like we were hoping they would, we could go through the entire ship.
The bots are finally going to Titanic. 3 years in the making.
Mir 1, Jake's just coming out of his hooch, over.
Here he comes, he's out.
I think we were so intent on watching the screens, I forgot where I was. The ROV had just unconsciously become our eyes.
This is what it's all about. Cruising around at 12,000 feet.
Jeff, stand by. We're about to launch Bot 1, a.k.a. Elwood. Flight enable. Comlink, camera power. All right, I think we're ready to fly. Elwood's coming out. Pretty cool. Looking good, Elwood. Tell him to go ahead. We'll meet in the center of the grand staircase.
Okay, we're gonna meet you in the center of the grand staircase.
The grand staircase on Titanic was, in my opinion, the most beautiful feature of the ship. And the dome, the wrought iron dome overhead, was just beautiful. It's really a blessing that this staircase did break apart and float out, because it allows easy access to the interior of the ship.
What's Elwood's 20?
Right above you, getting ready to start our descent, over.
Okay, we see him. Yeah. Okay, we see you.
Okay, proceed slowly.
Proceeding slowly.
God, this is so much like flying a helicopter.
We knew the beauty of the grand staircase was gone, but no one knew what we'd find deep inside the ship.
Continue down 1. You're crossing the floor of B deck right now. We're looking into C deck right now.
Do not go into C deck.
Do not go into C deck.
Awaiting instructions.
C deck, D deck. There's D deck. All right, he's in position to enter D deck.
Stand by there, Jeff. Your first move would be to enter D deck.
Roger that. You getting ready to go down in there? Do I want to be pointed aft or what? Yeah, okay.
Okay, tell him to move ahead slow.
Move ahead slow.
Moving ahead slow.
Tell him to move real easy.
Move real easy.
Real easy. Moving real easy.
Believe we are heading towards starboard.
We're looking at a light fixture. Looks like it had 4 or 5 bulbs on it.
We should come to the right.
Come to the right, Jeff.
And we'll head for the
turn
boiler
right
uptake.
Copy that.
So far, the vehicle's handling like a champ. It's performing beautifully. How much tether do we have out?
Just shy of 200 feet out.
Okay.
Я Мир-1. Глубина 3750 метров.
Move forward to that door frame.
We are inside the Titanic.
Tell him to slow down.
I still can't get over
Slow
it.
down.
Slow down. Stop and smell the roses.
Copy that. I still can't believe that we're actually here. I keep waiting for somebody to yell cut, and I'm going to go back to my trailer. I don't think I can get out of this and get back to my trailer. My trailer! I need to call my agent.
It's getting a little skinny right in here.
Looks like Carlsbad Caverns in there.
Is he pinned? Is there no way forward from there? Go left.
Go left.
Making the turn.
It's too close to the bottom. Tell him to come up.
Come up a bit. You're too close to the bottom.
Copy that.
Oh.
Boy, this is nerve-wracking. There's something there. See what that is?
Yeah,
windows.
Windows.
Windows. Dining room windows.
Tell them we're going for the window.
We're going for the windows.
Look at that. Unbelievable.
Take it real slow here.
Those are the lead glass windows.
Try to get your light up on those.
Amazing, huh? Turn off his spotlight.
Turn off your spotlight,
and
Jeff.
make a nice image of the windows.
Make a nice picture of the windows right in front of you.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh, boy. Beautiful. Still intact. Very much intact. Looks like the glass and definitely all the leaded glass, it's all there. Not broken.
First-class dining room was one of the most beautiful rooms on board the ship. Among the passengers who ate here were John Jacob Astor and his wife Madeline, who were on their honeymoon, and unfortunately she would be widowed before the end of the voyage.
We are not in Kansas anymore.
It's like you got a friend.
Oh, there's Sam. Sam stopped by to say hello. He's giving us the tour. Follow me, he says.
It's like a fantasy in here, isn't it?
The craftsmanship, the delicate beauty that human hands created these windows, that human eyes looked at these windows, and then you realize that you're 12,500 feet beneath the sea.
Oh, look at that woodwork. That's all wood, Genya. That's all carved wood.
But these things created by man, in this dark abyss where they just shouldn't be. They're not supposed to be down here.
Unbelievable. Who would have thought that stuff would still be there? It's a dream come true for me.
What's historically significant about the reception room is that this is where Elizabeth Lyons, one of the passengers, overheard a conversation between Captain Smith and Bruce Ismay, the owner of the Titanic. And she heard Ismay telling Smith to have the Titanic arrive in New York a day early.
I think we're going to beat Olympics time and arrive in New York Tuesday night.
We're holding at the first class entrance on the starboard side. Isn't that beautiful? Gosh. It looks like it's just been made more beautiful by time.
Titanic's main first-class entrance was on D-deck, and she had two large gangway doors on both the port and the starboard side. Through the eyes of the ROV, we could see the wrought iron gates just inside the doors, which were unknown to historians until this expedition. We had no idea what was inside of those doors, and now we know.
This is just the way they boarded the ship. They came in through that door, and then they came in through this inner door.
And in this entrance vestibule, there was a large sideboard against the aft wall where lots of first-class china was stored.
The dish cabinet had more or less rotted away, but you could see the teacups and the little dishes stacked perfectly there. I wish I had those dishes, Give it up on eBay.
There's the elevators.
There's the shaft. Look at that.
I thought they called them lifts, but you know what? The ship was owned by an American company. Like you could just call them now.
Whenever you're looking at the elevator grills, try to remember to just turn and look forward and see there may still be paneling right amidships, and there'll be big brass letters that will say A deck, B deck, C deck, or D deck, the first thing you see when you come out of the elevators. Most likely that paneling is down, but you never know.
Right.
And that'd be just a classic shot to have some of that lettering still clinging.
Yep. Ken loves this stuff. I feel like I'm making a film for one person, Ken Marshall. And there it is. Bingo, baby. Bingo. Tell him bingo.
Bingo. We could see that the A had indeed just recently fallen from its own weight. That brass letter was much heavier than the D-E-C-K.
Okay, I see where we are. We just peeked into D35.
We were very methodical exploring the interior. We had to be because the wreck can be very disorienting. It was spooky. D-33 was the cabin of Henry Sleeper Harper and his wife. Sitting on top of the remains of the wardrobe cabinet is Henry Harper's bowler hat. Just the idea that we know whose it was.
Hey, look, there's some kind of glass, maybe a mirror. Let's see if that's a mirror.
Sure looks like it.
It is. Oh, we're gonna go see ourselves.
A-11 was occupied by Edith Russell. Before getting into a lifeboat, she went back to her cabin to lock her 19 trunks because she didn't trust the stewards on board.
Jim was looking for Molly Brown's stateroom. We had a pretty good idea where that stateroom would be, and he was searching for a forward-facing window.
The ROV is narrow enough to scoot right through that.
And I saw that there was jagged glass at the bottom of the windowsill. That could sever the tether, commit suicide.
Ken Marshall says we can do this.
It's a gamble.
Don't do it, don't do it. I'll be laying your tether right across the glass.
There he goes. He's in there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Bad.
Well, okay, now that you're in, it's not that bad of an idea, I guess.
That's not a brass bed, that's a wooden bed.
It's kind of creepy.
I don't know. Molly Brown said she was in a brass bed, but I don't see a brass bed.
Molly Brown was a character. She and her husband had made their fortune mining out west, and she was desperate to be accepted by high society. The Titanic tragedy made her a legend.
Virginia.
Yes.
I need to pee.
Yes.
I don't think I can hold it much longer.
No problem.
Okay.
For me personally, I've always been kind of a nervous, pisser. I need a little privacy, but when you gotta go and you're 2.5 miles down, you gotta go.
It's okay.
I'll turn around. Can
Yes,
you turn
okay.
around?
Okay.
Thank you. Point your light straight into A deck.
My God, look at that.
Straight in.
Look at that, Tilia. A brass bed sitting right in there. Maybe Molly Brown did stay in a brass bed. But which one?
They've built bigger and better ships since Titanic, but I don't know that they'll ever build one that was as luxurious. And even now, after 90 years of laying on the bottom of the ocean, its beauty came to light.
Okay, we're in. Okay, tell them we're in the promenade.
Jake's in the promenade.
We did get into one of the 2 millionaires' suites on B deck.
B deck private promenade. They call them private promenade. Yeah.
These were the fanciest, most expensive lodgings on the ship. And in April 1912, you would have paid over $3,000 to book your passage.
This must be some of the facing. Yeah, it's some of the Tudor facing. We are in the room.
Jake's in the room.
This is Bruce Ismay's suite. This is the guy that left the ship. 1,500 people still on board. Ooh, that's a beauty.
We are in the sitting room looking at the fireplace.
Isn't it amazing? That ribbon design still there. These little touches of elegance. You can almost feel the hands of the guy that made that.
J. Bruce Ismay was the managing director of the White Star Line, and he was the one who vetoed the idea of having 48 lifeboats. He felt that fewer would be fine, that they, as long as they met the law, they were okay.
It is Smith's bathtub.
Oh, Captain Smith.
Yes.
Wow. The captain of the Titanic used to take his baths right there. His little pink butt sitting right there in the tub.
Captain Smith was called the millionaire's captain because he was so popular with the first-class passengers. 30 years at sea, perfect record. This voyage was to be his crowning achievement. He was going to take the biggest, most beautiful ship the world had ever seen across the ocean on her maiden voyage, and then retire.
In archaeology, we carry these ghosts of the imagination with us, and I was kind of imagining Thomas Andrews out there on the deck.
Thomas Andrews was the managing director and president of Harland and Wolff Shipbuilders. He designed and built the Titanic from the ground up. He knew the ship better than anyone.
He put davits on the ship that were designed to take a lifeboat from here and lift it outward, and then go inward and pick up a second lifeboat in a second position and go out. And in his own hand, in his notebook, he has the number of lifeboats that are supposed to go on the ship that he designed it for. And he was overruled and forced to comply only to the minimum of the Board of Trade requirement.
At the time.
Andrews cared about the ship and its crew and was actually on board to make a lot of last-minute improvements and to make sure everything ran smoothly.
If only there were a way to let him see these submersibles sending these incredible robots into his creation.
A little right to avoid the arm. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Good. Coming out. It's coming out, folks. Okay, ease it forward. Okay.
We explored all three forward cargo hatches and made it into several crew and third-class spaces that had never even been photographed before.
Is that the D-deck level right there?
I think so.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, that's it, and there's the other hatch. So just ease on in there. Ease it on in there. Okay, here's our stairwell. It should go right up to it.
So we got into third class and we were in the general room in the bow under the well deck. There wasn't a lot of detail, I guess you could say, in this room because it was never, a well-decorated room or anything. The bar at one end that still had the little tap there. There were table bases still there in place, the tables and the bench bases rising up from the floor. It was kind of neat to see those.
That's a very big table.
The place where they all ate.
They would have sat here and played cards.
This was where there was a large party held by so many of the third-class passengers on Sunday night. And it really was moving to be able to see this room where so many of them spent their last few happy hours.
There was a brand new Renault, beautiful car that was strapped down in the cargo hold. And we have some fairly good historical projections of what it would look like now.
Going from F deck to G deck. Solid hatch cover, as advertised. But it's open.
And it would be barely recognizable as a car. Only a few items would show up recognizable as a vehicle.
We were on G deck, correct? We went through the solid hatch cover. We are now on the Orlop deck.
Correct. You are. Tilt up and you'll see the car.
Tilt up and we'll see some gack. I see some light back there.
Yeah.
Maybe that is the car.
It is.
I think that's the car.
It is. It's the car.
No. No.
It can't be that easy.
It is. I don't think that's the car. I think we're seeing cars.
Shiny
Oh
piece
my
of...
God.
I'm thinking. Are you thinking
That
what
looks
I'm
like
thinking?
real.
Jim, that's a fender. I mean, I don't care what planet you're on, that's a tire and that's a fender.
This headlight.
We're seeing cars, boy. All right, the best thing to do,
And
now that
real.
we're here, is to just look everywhere. There's a car.
That's a car.
No, that's a trunk right there. Wicker trunk. Oh, it's a tire.
There were some pretty interesting looking structures. Obviously man-made stuff, but nothing clearly identifiable as a car.
Yeah, we should be able to get all the way forward under the forecastle.
Are you in?
Yeah.
Oh, baby. That's awesome. Ah, dude, this is so cool. Okay, count doors on the right, because that's how we'll orient ourselves. There should be 2 doors side by side.
They are.
The first door should take you into the fireman's mess.
You want to go in there?
Yeah. That's definitely the fireman's mess. Oh, look at that. Table after table.
You can see the bow tapering
Yeah,
in.
exactly. Shape of the ship. You can imagine exactly what this place looked like.
The firemen really were segregated from the rest of the crew, probably because they had the dirtiest job. And so their quarters were all on the very tip of the bow. They had 2 circular staircases, which basically took them down to the very bottom of the ship and to the boiler rooms.
Imagine spiraling your way down to the furnaces of this hungry Leviathan to join hundreds of men shoveling coal into the gaping maws of the boilers. It's kind of spooky. And when you finish your shift hours later, you climb back up into your little world below decks at the very bow of the ship where you eat, you sleep, then you do it all over again. Even here, we could feel the hand of Thomas Andrews. At the top of one of the spiral staircases, we found a drinking fountain. I'm sure that even this small kindness must have been greatly appreciated.
Yeah, here we've got a plan that illustrates pretty well what happened that night. The Titanic was divided into 16 watertight compartments separated by 15 watertight bulkheads.
That's these bold
That's
lines
these
here.
white lines here. And the ship was designed to be as unsinkable as they could at that time. The worst that they could imagine is a collision at the juncture of 2 compartments, which would flood 2 adjacent compartments. The ship would only sink so far and still be safe. She was also designed to float with any 3 of the first 5 compartments flooded, or the first 4 in a row could still flood if they were in some traumatic,
That was the worst case scenario
Yeah.
that they could imagine.
run into a rock or something like that,
Gotcha.
just full on. She'd buckle back this far, and the ship could still float. So with all of this combination of safety factors, she was considered virtually unsinkable. What they didn't envision is what happened that night. Titanic struck the iceberg a glancing blow along the starboard side, scraped along and ruptured plates or split the seams, moving along into this cargo compartment, into this cargo compartment, and this baggage and cargo, into boiler room number 6, and 2 feet into the coal bunker of boiler room number 5. And as the ship sank, just at the point where it was about ready to stabilize, it reached the top of this watertight subdivision and started flowing up the stairways and across the deck and down into the next compartment. And it was just a mathematical certainty, plain and simple, that there was no way, no matter how you slice it, that the ship is going to make it.
So where exactly did it split?
Well, it broke in two right back here, just right about at the third funnel and aft of that. There's a natural weak spot here in the hull, right above the reciprocating engine room. There is a large air shaft here for light and air to ventilate the reciprocating engine room.
My God, what that must have sounded like, what that must have looked like, what that must have been like. What a death blow to this great ship. Imagine the vortex to create that kind of twisting. That's what gets me. Seeing the end of the stern piece and seeing how that's just...
Can't you just see like one of those fish swimming along, you know, and then... And you know what the fish would have done? Whoa. Our best shot is probably of the reciprocating engines on the starboard side, right?
That's the guts of it.
This shot.
Starboard side. Sometimes I sit exactly here and come up.
Yes, that's good. Good.
Like that.
Now,
and I do sometimes good shots when Victor stay here.
Right. But the thing is that Victor can't face us. He can't. Otherwise, his lights will hit the camera. He has to be above with the lights down.
Yes.
Or like this.
Yes.
Like
maybe here. Yes.
So, sort of this sort of thing. See, if the water is clear, that'll make a very good shot.
The engine room.
The engines are evocative.
Keep that thing alive. They were Titanic. They knew it was dying. They were the ones who fought. They didn't die with a brandy glass in their hand. They died with a monkey wrench, just trying to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
That is the starboard engine. Look at that. Oh, man. Look at the size of that thing.
Okay, keep on pinning, because I'm going to be coming around this way.
Oh, man. It does give you the scale. Seeing that little bot next to that giant sphinx of an engine. When you see the stern section where it tore in half, and there are the two reciprocating engines standing 4 stories high, they really do look like these twin sphinxes that are guarding, the forbidden tomb.
When the historians look at Titanic, they think of the lives that were lost. When I look at the ship as a scientist, I look at the life that still is on Titanic. Titanic is very much alive. Rusticles are bacteria, microscopic organisms, bugs, that are actually eating the steel and the insides of the ship. I look at a rail and think, oh, look at the bacteria. They're breaking Titanic down and taking her back to nature. But then you immediately go back and think, who touched this railing last?
Helen Candy is one of my favorite passengers. She had written one of the century's first bestsellers, basically the theme being how a woman can get along in life successfully without a man. And that's how she was traveling first class on the Titanic. And on the very last sunrise that the Titanic would ever see, she snuck out to the very point of the bow just to greet the sunrise alone. And she wrote about it and how she just felt the power and the beauty of this ship, and that it was stronger than nature itself, maybe even stronger than God itself. And then suddenly she felt very dark, and as if she had thought something sacrilegious.
It's good. What's in borscht?
That's good. Борщ Russian.
What is in borscht? What is borscht?
Борщ — это все вместе. Cabbage, potatoes, бульон, everybody борщ.
Уходим в глубины морские, уносим с собой дом родной.
Anatoly has a song that he wrote about the blue sky that you see when you return to the surface in a hatch open. And I think that's very apropos because it's something that you didn't think you would miss, but you do.
Осеннее пламя, созревшие рябины и запах несжатых полей. Солнца уж нет и в помине.
It's very difficult to wander through the Keldysh and not think of the Titanic and draw some parallel. You know, what would have happened if the engineers hadn't stayed at their station and the Titanic had gone dark, say, an hour earlier? Would have been absolute pandemonium? I became very close with the men in the engineering section.
It's quieter in here. Hello, my friend.
There wasn't a lot said, but there was still very much a bonding that went on there.
Tell me, if we were going full speed, okay, and all of a sudden the bridge said, iceberg or drunken fishing boat captain in our way, and they ring alarm, what do you do?
Ну что, перевожу управление на себя сразу. Так. Беру ручки. Сразу. Full speed. Полный ход. Перехожу на стоп. Бросаю обороты двигателя. Да.
Пора с глубиной нам сегодня проститься, с пустынным безжизненным дном. И сколько в разлуке ты не был вдали от заботливых рук. Сегодня в награду увидишь небо, когда ты откроешь люк. И сколько в разлуке ты не был вдали от заботливых рук. Сегодня в награду увидишь небо, когда ты откроешь люк.
Anatoly!
On our last dive to Titanic, we found some interesting organisms. Yes, inside the ship. It almost has wings. See the wings that are flying?
The oddest creature that was seen down there was something we call the batwing, and to my knowledge, nobody's identified it yet. Several creatures down there that I don't think are known to science.
Titanic, because there is so much interest in it, has really allowed us to do a great deal of research. You could actually see gelatinous-type clouds of bacteria as they floated by, and finger-like structures that were hanging from the ceilings.
Intertwined with this woodwork, we'll see these lavender worms, shimmery, strange things, almost transparent sometimes, and they particularly like the mahogany paneling.
Let's go up to them.
Even the fish don't look like the same rat tails that are found outside. To me, they appear to live exclusively inside the ship.
He's heading for the elevator shaft.
Hey, he knows where he's going.
Oh, I can't believe it. I didn't think I'd see the boilers on this dive. I had no idea we were approaching the bow from this angle. We're awful close to this stuff.
Come here too. You got a steam pipe right above you, so be careful.
It's safe to be this close?
What are you worried about, Ken? If something happens to us tomorrow, your artwork will be worth millions.
Yeah, oh great, that'll do me a lot of good. I see a real shiny thing. Straight ahead. Oh, these are whistles, Jenya. Whistles from the funnel. Oh my goodness, right under me.
Oh, look at this. What is that, Jenya?
Yes.
Like a hatch cover. It's a hatch cover, I think.
Yes.
I don't think we've ever seen a hatch cover.
I saw it earlier.
Yeah, so that's hatch 1, and it got blown off when the ship hit the bottom. It's just blown right out here in front of the ship.
Oh my God. Here's a glass carafe.
Oh, look at that.
Unbelievable. Can you believe it survived?
That's a first-class stateroom
water decanter. Water decanter.
Yeah.
I was pretty calm going down. As a matter of fact, we saw, like, in my porthole, just perfectly, there was this woman's shoe. It was, like, perfectly preserved, and it was laced up. You know, I was just like, you know, oh my God, you know, that's somebody's grave marker. That's the only grave marker they have.
You see down that we are coming to the David.
Yeah, David number 1. This was Lifeboat 1, where Sir Cosmo and Lady Duff Gordon had escaped with only 10 other people in a lifeboat that could have held 24 more. The law of the sea is pretty much women and children first when you go to evacuate a ship. On the port side of the ship, Second Officer Lightoller took it to mean women and children only, and he only let women and children into the boats and then as few crewmen as possible to navigate it.
Don't you worry.
Now, working on the other side of the ship, here's Murdoch, getting the boats in the water as quick as he can, shoving men in, women, children, first class, third class, he didn't care.
Back into the boat. Yes, I wish you would. Yes, madam. Here we go.
Almost 2/3 of everyone who survived have Murdoch to thank for it.
Moving into the A-deck promenade with the ROV, it really looked familiar. A long, sweeping, open deck, half of it was open, the forward end was enclosed by large glass windows.
This is right where they walked, you know. John Jacob Astor put Madeline Astor into the lifeboat, right through one of those windows, right there.
And because she was 5 months pregnant, he'd asked Second Officer Lightoller,
"May I accompany my wife?"
No, sir. Women and children only. Come on.
Here, darling. Take these.
and so he told her that he'd be seeing her in New York.
No, sir. Step aside.
I've been thinking about my family a lot being out here, and we're going on these dives. I mean, there's an element of risk involved. Yeah. It's a calculated risk, but I think the idea of suddenly being on the deck and saying, "I love you," and trying to bear up and just go in the lifeboats. Don't worry, Daddy will be along in a little while. Mm-hmm. That's just torturous.
Yeah, trying to make your family think that it's
everything's
okay.
fine. You're just keeping up a brave face. That.
Exactly.
I think it's the question of personal character that you keep kind of going back to. For me, ever since I was a teenager, the whole idea is the question of how would I have bared up?
Yeah.
Would I have had the character to stand back with the men and shown that kind of nobility, shown that kind of courage? Yeah. And it's and as we romanticize, the image of Titanic, and it's such a romantic time and everything. You want to put yourself with the men who are standing there with dignity, but you really can't assume what your character would be in that moment unless you've been through that kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
You see the door? See this entrance to the first class?
Yeah, it's first class entrance.
Yeah.
This is where the band would have played, this little open area right here. The orchestra would have gathered and they started playing ragtime. You think of the band, of course, in terms of how heroic they were, that they stood there and played knowing that everyone else was getting into a lifeboat except them. But how calming that band music was to the people who were on board.
Okay,
This, right over here, should be the Marconi room.
Everyone knows the important role that the Marconi Wireless played that night. Senior Marconi Wireless operator Jack Phillips and junior operator Harold Bride worked in tandem until the very end.
You should try SOS. It's the new signal.
Yes, it might be our last chance to use it.
During the final moments of the sinking, the ship's power was becoming unstable. Harold Bride was in the silent room trying to compensate for this loss of power. To our great astonishment are the handles, the settings that are still visible on these two field regulators. They are still in the final settings that this man actually manipulated.
Hey, that's better. Right
They
on.
have the human touch to them.
Pull! Pull together!
Many of the boats have been launched half full.
Return to the ship!
We need to go back.
No! It's our lives now. Now row! The suction will pull us down if we don't keep going.
Titanic is a stage where God says you have 2.5 hours to act out the rest of your life. What are you going to be? Will you be a hero? Will you be a coward?
Time for one more hand. Poker. 5-card draw.
Would you fight to survive? Would you take your place meekly with the people that were relegated to the third-class spaces and wait patiently until someone unlocks a gate and lets you through? What would you do? How would you act? I think it's fortunate that most of us will never be put to that test.
Any more women and children? Anyone else, men? Anyone else? Quickly, quickly then, quickly. Prepare the Lord. Ready on the left. Ready on the
Bruce Ismay. He's the guy who was responsible, and yet he did survive when others died.
I don't know which man would have felt worse that night. Bruce Ismay for vetoing more lifeboats, or Thomas Andrews for not having fought that decision harder.
There was absolute pandemonium, just chaos as those last boats went down.
It was precarious. There was one Lifeboat 11 where they had gotten to the point where they weren't letting adults in. And this sort of forced women to decide whether they were going to be separated from their children or not. And they were trying to just take children only because there were so many people and there were just a few lifeboats. And several instances where women just said, I'm not going without my children. You know, I'm not staying behind. They're not leaving without me. And they ended up overcrowding that lifeboat, but the water was so calm it made it. You know, it had well over 70 people, but at least the water was calm enough it was okay.
So it must have been right up to the gunnels.
Oh, it was just like that far above the water. I mean, you could just put your hand over and trailed it in the water if you'd wanted.
At the very end, Murdoch was trying to get collapsible A off the roof while the ship was sinking out from under it.
Ready, get back! Get back! Step away! Crank this davit in quickly now!
Cranked the davits back in to drag the collapsible over the side, but by then it was too late. The number one davit remains in that cranked-in position, an unspoken monument to Murdoch's dedication and heroism.
After all the lifeboats had gone, we have evidence of some of the third-class passengers just going back to their cabins. They had no hope of surviving, and they just took it gracefully.
To me, it must have been tough for the people who survived, knowing that they could have possibly gone back and rescued some of the people in the water once the ship had gone under.
To go in there would have been suicide and nothing less. We've got 1,500 people in the water all screaming for help. They're fighting for their lives, and you could easily have 50, 100 people trying to climb on board the boat at once, and then
They're sitting in a lifeboat safe. They know that they're to not row back or to have that not in your mind. I can't believe that as somebody that they're not
how
going to.
safe are you in a lifeboat in the middle of the North Atlantic?
Titanic is that thing that you always kind of try to measure yourself against, like, what would I have done if I would have been on the deck? But I think heroism and character will always be the domain of the individual, not the group. And I think that's what will never change.
On one of the later dives, Jim decided to go back into the first-class spaces on D-deck and have Mir 2 shine lights through those leaded glass windows from the outside.
Getting ready?
Yes.
Here comes the light.
Nice. Perfect. Not since April 14th, 1912 had human eyes seen light pouring through these beautiful windows.
A lot of the washstands have fallen over, yet here was one that was still upright. And so someone took a drink of water, set that glass down, and walked out of that room, and 90 years later, that glass and that carafe are still sitting there.
It's amazing. In the middle of all this destruction, you see this perfect object. You know, it really ties you to the people.
Yeah, it does.
You still see things where people had last left them. Lamps still plugged in. The medicine bottles still in place. It's the things that people touch that bring the pictures alive in your mind.
So we're looking at it right here like this.
I need more power. Oh, baby, react, react, react.
We have a problem.
What?
We've got a low battery warning here. Whoa, there's something really terribly wrong here.
Uh-oh. Are we going to lose this thing?
Oh, Jesus.
Did we crash?
We're dead. We're dead.
We're dead and we're buoyant.
We're dead.
Drop flotation. Drop buoyancy right now. Do it as quick as you can.
Battery just starting to die. We're not going to live.
Guys, get a visual on us because we just lost power, and I think that
You're
it's
headed for the ceiling, Jim. You're headed for the ceiling. You're sitting on the ceiling, Jim.
We're dead in the water. We have a dead battery.
Okay, we're watching you. We're gonna watch you. We're just gonna sit here and watch you. The whole thing was melting down. The batteries, they were melting down and venting, and it was very bizarre. It was like, Houston, we have a problem.
They flew beautifully, right up until the point that we had an absolute total major malfunction system crash. I've had a debate with myself as to whether I would even ever try a rescue, because better to lose one than to lose two.
It's almost a straight shot, except there's a couple of columns in the way.
But I think there's a way to bring it back.
Yeah, it's not too far from the stairwell.
No. So, but the first thing we got to do is we got to get some weight on it. The weight with a piece of Velcro on top of it. And I want to fly up underneath it and stick the weight to the bottom of it, sink it to the floor, then come up and dock with it and carry it out. I think that's the only way to do it.
Let me know if I'm going too fast.
We had to rescue Elwood. Not just because these bots are expensive machines, but because in some strange way, he'd become part of the crew.
Where is my little bot now? Look up, look up. Hello, Elwood.
We tried to attach weights to the ROV to make it come down off the ceiling.
Now, if I just go forward.
What the hell was that?
Something fell. I don't know. See, we're thrusting up against it, so it may not come down right away. All right, so let me get set for the separation maneuver. It's on there. It's on there. We have it. I'm going to have to get out of this siltub, no matter what. Otherwise, we're not coming home. I'm going out. Up.
Blink here. We lost.
It's going to come floating past us in a second. Might as well get it on tape. Here she comes. Say goodbye.
Probably 2 hours without radio contact from Jim. All we hear over the radio is,
Say goodbye to Jake.
say goodbye to Jake.
What's happened?
Hit our own tether.
Cable broke.
I can't imagine what it was like in Jim's sub, because he goes through a whole range of emotions. First he loses one robot, then he loses a second robot.
Well, we got our ceiling scenario and we got our kite scenario. The two ways that we thought we could actually lose these things.
And after a quick exchange, we noticed the tether coming up past our sub. Jenya grabs the joysticks that control the sub manipulators, and he grabs the tether and he starts winding the tether up around the arms of the manipulators.
This is scary. See what he's doing? If he breaks it before he gets a wrap on it. Oh my God, I can't watch this. You're scaring me now, Jenya.
To wind up all this tether, it took probably 30, 35 minutes of just constant, the same motion over and over and over, winding this up.
35 minutes. And we've been at this. Hey!
Let's see it. I thought it was on the ground.
All stop. You got him. All stop.
Our next task is to take a Velcro patch and slap it on top of the robot with the manipulator arms and pull the robot in that way.
You got him. Still got it.
As Jenya's pulling up on it, the Velcro rips off the robot, and for this brief second, the entire robot was free and starts floating back up again. There's no tether holding it anywhere. We don't have it at all.
It's free. Grab it. Grab it any way you can.
Jenya, the most amazing operator of any piece of machinery that I've ever seen in my life, grabbed his manipulators like they're his own arms, and he grabs the thing and pulls it back in and hugs it tight to the mirror.
I'm going gray over here. I think he's got it in that garage.
I got the tool out. I saw the tool. Yes! Woo!
Garage closed.
Yes. Lives another day.
Oh my God. I do believe Jenya deserves a raise.
I do believe you owe everybody here a beer.
Dude, I'll buy you a brewery. That was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. Well, the ROV department was almost out of a job. Was that amazing?
That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
I think I aged a year. And we sat there and we just watched him just fly up out of the grand staircase and just keep on going. Jenya wound it all in like it's like a kid winding up a kite string.
Great job. Good job.
So we got the rescue half done. We installed the weight, and then we had a problem. We saw it with the weight hanging on it, and I don't know if it came down or not.
I think metal hooks would work if you get some kind of a fishing lure that you can stab into the screen and pull it out by the screen.
I told you we nailed him.
Just remember, when you hook up, you want to peel away to your right.
Come on, baby. We're in.
You're in. Jim?
We're in. Now, I'm gonna sit for a minute. Take a little break.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
All right, we're halfway. There's nothing in front of him. We push him a little bit, and I think we busted loose. Hooks pulled out. Hooks pulled out. And I think we knocked him off his weight.
Yeah, the weight would have come off anyway then.
All right. The question is, do we have another try? Something's right over me. Oh, there we go. Got rid of that. Now we're rising. All right, time to go for the kill.
cave. Not the center. We could bend our hooks on the... Oh, that looks good.
Push him a little bit. Then all back full. Yaw right.
Hook's still there?
Negative.
That's good.
Let's go for a drive and see if he comes with us. Oh, I'm yawing. I'm yawing in a weird way, so that must mean I have him. So I'm just going to keep playing. I'm going to play the hand.
I think the door is right down there. Tell him we're here.
Near 1, we see the door. We're on station.
There's the light.
Tell him we see them. Tell them we see them.
Mirror 2, we see your lights. Maintain position.
All right.
There's the way out.
We're hung up. We're hung up. We're stopped. And we're stuck. See it? It's like hitting a wall. We are hung up. Solid. Absolutely solid. Nothing. I think we lost it. I don't know what to do. I'm sure nothing's changed, but I'll try it again. Okay, I'm gonna back up, take a little leash, and then charge it. Now we get to the same spot, and hey, we're going.
We're going.
Go toward the light, Jake. Go toward the light. Come on, baby, come on.
Mirror 2, mirror 2.
Tilt your light down.
Tilt your light down. Tilt your light down.
Copy that, tilting it down.
I keep feeling shocks. I think I still have them.
Oh, that's why they're coming this way.
Oh my God.
Tell them to take a visual on us and see if we have Elwood.
Look at that. Do you see Elwood? Oh my God, he got it.
It looks great. It's beautiful.
Do you see Elwood?
Do you see Elwood?
Yes, we do.
We got him.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us.
We pulled it off, Daddy-O.
Yeah.
Great job.
Everybody did a great job.
Elwood is safe and sound. And the time is 6:16, September 11th, 2001. See you later.
What's this thing that's going on?
Worst terrorist attack in history, Jim.
We all were very wrapped up in what we were doing, and we all thought it was desperately important.
By 2 separate hijacked commercial jets.
And then this horrible event happened and slammed us into this perspective.
You know,
The morning after the attack on September 11th, I kept thinking how trivial this expedition suddenly became. It just wasn't a big deal anymore. The emotional parallels came first. You know, we now understood what it felt like to be a witness to tragedy. The sense of shock and numbness and the disbelief that the unthinkable has happened.
It does happen. Occasionally life sits on your head. But hey, I've been knocked down before. We all have. We get up. We go on. I think that's what makes us great.
Everyone decided to continue the expedition. I think that after we'd gotten over the initial shock, Titanic did seem to become important again. Not so much for itself, but as a symbol of what can happen when warnings go unheeded, and how I think we all hope to face death when it comes.
Archie Frost was in the engine room that night, just barely into his 20s, and had worked with Thomas Andrews when the ship was being built. After a certain point, Andrews had come down and told them the ship does not have much time to live, and if you stay here, you will die. Archie Frost said, "We'll stay here as long as we need to be here." Those are the everyday heroes, the people who ran those machines, who kept the generators running and kept power for the telegraph going, who kept the crowds calm. You find the ordinary hero that is standing next to you.
When you see the stern, where 1,500 people had died, I don't really know how to describe it.
You can't help but be emotional. There's no doubt that people were taken to the bottom in the stern, but they're no longer there. Every trace of their human existence has been dissolved into the ocean.
Okay, Mirror 2, get in position to lay the flag. Get into position to lay the flag.
The 1,500 souls lost here still speak, reminding us always that the unthinkable can happen, but for our vigilance, humility, and compassion. We had been at sea a long time. I was thinking about being home again. On the final day, as we left, at the stern of the ship was like a white rainbow. It's almost like a halo effect over the wreck of the Titanic. And it had an ethereal feel to it. I think you leave Titanic, but it never leaves you. It's always there. And many times when I close my eyes, I'm suddenly back there, floating over the wreck. And I feel like I am a ghost of the abyss.
Darkness, darkness, be my pillow. Take my hand and let me sleep in the coolness of your shadow, in the silence of your deep darkness.